Okay, welcome back. My Let's Play of Final Fantasy XIV on the PC. We are in the 5.1 content. Last time we did a fun dungeon in a weird split video, a couple months apart, but you know, we're back in business, so let's keep going. Beck Lug, good for the soul. I suspect the Crystal Exarch has told you of my past, that I was once a mage of the Royal Court of Vobert, and that soulcraft was my field of study. The tonic you administer to the patients here is one of the fruits of my labors. I hope to do great things for the kingdom. But in the end, my knowledge brought only suffering, a plague the like of which none had ever seen. In the hands of unscrupulous men, what should have been my greatest triumph instead became my greatest shame. Now you have a chance to redeem yourself. That I do. A comforting thought indeed. But let us return to the task at hand, finding a means by which we might revitalize these people's incorporeal ether. Do you think it can be done? Were the sky still ablaze with primordial light, I would call it an exercise in futility. But now we may have a chance. The method I have in mind will entail the conjuring of a familiar. They are able to amplify the energies poured into them, making them the perfect conduit for the ether revitalizing magics we will ultimately employ. If you're about to launch into a lengthy explanation of the metaphysics of your plan, don't bother. I'd rather get on with doing whatever it is that needs to be done if it's all the same to you. Whatever reagents must be procured or spells invoked, I'll do it. I admire your spirit. Very well. Your first task will be to gather the necessary materials. The purest of waters and finest of clays, as well as a fey lantern brimming with pixie magic. If you're convinced the resulting familiar could help the patients, fine. Alphino, the water and clay will be simple enough, but I think you know what we'll have to do to get the lantern. You don't mean... Pixies took quite a liking to us before. If we humor them with our company, I'm sure they'll be willing to help us. Fine. We'll pay a visit to Mangg, though I never thought you would be the one to suggest going back there. I'm impressed you've been there at all, let alone befriended the Fey folk. Oh, while you're about it, seek out the new Mo of Plaeni. They will be able to supply you with water suitable for our needs. Right. Let's get this over with, shall we? There still remains the matter of the clay. Might I prevail upon you to find it? Clay from Amarang would likely be best. Know you of anyone who might be able to assist us? The scavengers at Mordsuk. Scavengers, you say? Well, they may know the lie of the land, but I dare say they are more interested in trinkets and baubles hiding in the earth than the earth itself. Now, miners, on the other hand... What's that? You know the miners of Twine. Perfect. Speak with them, and you should have no trouble procuring what we need. While you and the twins are occupied, I will see if there is aught else I can learn of the stagnation which afflicts the people here. I'm sure we'll just pop over here and pick it up and head back here. Mangg! Oh, what a coincidence. You've come at a good time. We've just this moment finished repairing the Talos and trolley you lot took to Nabatharang. Trolley was no trouble, but the Talos would have been another matter had we not had a visit from Master Chai. He offered us a share of the leftover building materials from Daedalus Stoneworks, as well as a few trade secrets to help us along. Clever man, that Chai News. He seemed pretty keen on the ideas I had for putting the giant Talos to work. Like a giant trolley. But Magnus still refuses to see all the good we could do with it. You're entitled to your dreams, Jarek, but that doesn't mean you can go harassing our guests with them. Master Chai was just being polite. And something tells me Mangg here didn't come all this way to talk about trolleys. What is it you need, friend? I see. And this familiar requires clay from Amarang. Now look no further. If anyone can find you some quality clay, it's us. Saying that, it isn't exactly a commodity nowadays. But there must be some lurking somewhere or other waiting to be dug up. If I'm not mistaken, there was a time when they used to take clay from Mount Buren mines to make adobe bricks. The place is swarming with coyotes now, but if you're after the good stuff, you could do worse than to look there. Then let's go. And we have to kill coyotes, so... Red Mage. Red Mage is my only other 80 at the moment. Dancer's pretty damn close. We're at 77. Summoner's at 77. You know. Now that I'm getting back into things, it won't be too long. Poor Dancer's at 80 at the very least. And I've been leveling Paladin quite a bit. You know... tanking is kind of cool when you completely know the dungeon. That's when I like it. I mean, I'm sure some people like tanking when it's fresh and learning and, you know, I don't know. But that's where I prefer healing, because I feel healing is really not intensive. And I can just focus on mechanics. And I don't have to lead or anything. You know, no one expects the healer to lead. But when you really completely know the dungeon, tanking's pretty fun. Because then I feel really comfortable leading the group through. I know everything that's going to happen, and it's just kind of enjoyable. Not that I dislike healing when I completely know the dungeon. But I've been liking leveling up my Paladin through all the early stuff that I've done over and over and over. Alright, that was that. Okay, that wasn't too bad. I thought it would be like a 3-quest chain or something to get this rare clay. The twins have returned, and in one piece at that. I was convinced the pixies would turn at least one of them into a garden ornament, but no. You have the clay, I take it. Do. It's in this sack. Wonderful. We need but combine the clay in the water, then heat the mixture with the Fey Lantern. After that, it will be a simple matter of settling upon a suitable form and performing the necessary incantation. Luke, I have a question. In the event that we had need of this spell and you weren't around, would it be possible for another to perform the incantation? Assuming they possess the requisite skill, yes. Ulrich and the others have suffered so much, and I swore to do everything in my power to save them. If there's a chance this spell could do that, I would be the one to invoke it. Mayhap you should be the one to do so. A deep understanding of the subject's physical state, combined with a strong desire to help them, can drastically increase the magic's effect, and you are plainly more familiar with these people than I. I dare say there are few in all of Norvrand more dedicated to finding a cure. Is that not so, Mangg? Absolutely. She's the best woman for the job. I'll give it my all. For Ulrich. For Tesleen. And we are all of a mind on the matter. Alize shall be the one to conjure the familiar.
Let us begin. I trust you've prepared the clay? Very good. Now, I would have you sculpt for me a porksy. Plump, with floppy ears and a short curly tail.
A porksy. I think I know what you mean. There we are. How's that?
Well, it is certainly creative. There's no denying that.
Yes, I'm no artist. Very funny.
Pay him no mind, child. Though it may look like a grotesque parody of reality, it is what the invoker believes that matters.
You're not helping.
But I speak the truth. If successful, this incantation will turn imagination into reality. Which is why the only thing of import is what you believe this figure embodies. You must focus. Hold the porksy's image steady in your mind's eye. Now then, as I taught you, relax and allow your energies to flow.
With flesh of clay I bid thee rise, on wings of dreams to touch the skies. What once was idle fantasy, I call forth to reality.
Not bad for a first attempt. Now, let us see what can be done for young Halric. Through the operation of the magics you invoked to animate this familiar, it is now replete with the energies required to stir the boy's soul. You need but give it a name, and it will do as your heart desires.
A name. All right, I've decided. Now. Go, Angelo!
Mother, I...
Well, seems like it did something. I don't know what... I mean, that's a pretty weird ritual, but okay. How is he, Beglu? Did it work? I believe it did. You and your fledgling familiar have done well. If my eyes do not deceive, a hint of color has returned to his soul. Gods, I would jump for joy if I weren't so exhausted. We're so close now, Halric. As you are even now in the process of discovering, this magic asks much of the invoker. What you may not have realized is that the same is also true of the subject. As such, we must proceed with caution. However, with further treatment, I have the utmost confidence the boy will make a full recovery. Observing the reanimation of his stagnant soul has been most enlightening. I will need time to put my theories to the proof, but I believe I can fashion a spell to produce the opposite effect, that is, to induce stagnation, thus enabling our safe transport back to the source via Oracite. A thought occurred to me about this treatment. Beck-Luke said when the soul is rendered... when the soul is rendered dormant, the mind is separated from the body, that a person becomes incapable of interacting with the world around them. Does that not sound a lot like some of the tempered back in the source? Not really. It is the fate of most tempered to become slaves to primals, save in a handful of cases. Or am I missing something? If I can master this technique, the art of revitalizing the soul, I know of at least one in the source who could desperately use such treatment. Dabu. Exactly. His condition is uncannily similar to Halric's, is it not? The only difference being that his soul was suffused with earth-aspected ether instead of light. It follows that if his soul is subject to a similar kind of stagnation, there may be a chance we can save him, right? Forgive me, but who is this Gabu fellow of whom you speak? I see. His condition does sound similar, yet there is much and more about the soul that remains unknown even to me. I say this not to discourage you, you understand, but to remind you that this is delicate work we do here. Work requiring patience. Of course, and as long as there is hope for the patients here, I will devote whatever time is needed to see this through. But I refuse to spend that time in idleness. If it's all the same to you, I'd like to stay here with Angelo and continue with their treatment. The two of you should return to the Crystarium with Beck-Luke and see if you can't make some headway with their newly posited theories. I would tell you to rest first, but I see you're not to be convinced. Ah, the fire of youth. Let us return to the Crystarium, then. Finally, I found you. Hi, Sheer. What are you doing all the way out here? There's trouble back in Yulmore. Lady Chai's beside herself. Sighing, pacing, the whole lot. Near enough begged me to go and find you. Sighing and pacing, you say? It must be urgent. I take it I will be returning to the Crystarium alone. Go on, then. It's not as if I have anything for you to do. Thank you, Beck-Luke. Sorry for bothering you and all that, but she says the future of Yulmore is at stake. That's pretty serious. Nowhere to turn. Lady Chai's up in the parlor. Best not keep her waiting, eh? But Yulmore's so fun. How could it end? Well, naught here seems out of the ordinary, though I do not see Lady Chai anywhere. Probably pacing around outside again, staring off into the distance and all that, sighing. Strange. Let's see if we can find her and discover the source of her distress. I mean, it's probably like they ran out of fucking cakes or something. Okay, this is the end of the quest. Interesting. All right, let's find this. Yeah, there she is.
Oh, thank heavens you're here.
Lady Chai, whatever is the matter?
I knew not where else to turn. Oh, this is all too much for my poor heart to bear alone.
Alone? What of Master Chai?
But that is the very reason I summoned you. He's gone.
What? What happened?
It all began after the events at Mount Gulg. With Lord Vorthry out of the way, we all agreed that a new leader must be chosen.
And so you held an election?
Yes, well, sort of. Not a single person volunteered to stand, you see. After a lifetime of leisure, we free citizens have grown somewhat indolent. Readapting to the harsh realities of life is trying enough, but to take charge of a broken city as well, no one wanted such responsibility. Nevertheless, Yulmore could not well do without a leader, and so we decided that anyone and everyone should be considered a candidate. And after we cast our ballots and tallied the votes, the mayorship fell upon my dear husband.
Well, given the manner in which he orchestrated the construction of the giant Talos, none could deny his leadership qualities.
But even before then, he had proven himself at Daedalus Stoneworks, don't forget. He is more than qualified for the role. The perfect choice. Indeed. I told him as much when his victory was first announced. But perhaps I was too forceful in my attempt to encourage him, for shortly after that he vanished without a word.
You believe he was so daunted by the burden of leadership that he felt compelled to flee? Please, Lady Chai, dry your eyes. Your husband does not strike me as the sort of man who would abandon his duty, much less his beloved wife. There has to be some other reason for his absence.
You truly think so? What about you? What do you think has become of my husband?
He probably didn't flee. He probably just got, knifed in the gut and thrown in the ocean. Yeah.
And there you have it, Lady Chai. You needn't worry. Master Chai loves you more than all the world, and he will return. Wherever he may have gone, rest assured we will find him.
Thank you, my dear boy. You have set my mind at ease. I will trust in my husband and await his return.
I mean, either way, I can't imagine it was really, like, a good scenario. Pixie berry tea. Perfectly steeped cup of aromatic sweet and tart tea. Potato salad, creamy side dish of eggs, colorful vegetables, and hearty russet potatoes. Robe lettuce salad. I like the tea. That sounds good. Can't go wrong with some tea. Notable absence. It makes no sense for Master Chai to have left without a word, but even if he had, he would not have done so unobserved. Someone here will have seen something, I am sure of it. We should split up and inquire as to whether anyone saw him leave, or, failing that, if they have any idea where he might have gone. I will meet you at the Glory Gate to compare notes later on. Someone knows something. Like you. Master Chai? Why, yes, I spoke with him recently, though I recall he was in a rather dour mood. Concerned about Yulmore's neglect of industry, you see. With Lord Vothry's apparently inexhaustible stores of meal, and no great need for money, it's little wonder our businesses were all but forgotten under his rule. But I assured Master Chai that the Boutique of Splendors would do all it can to contribute to the revival of trade here in Yulmore, which seemed to satisfy him. He took his leave soon after. Okay, stagnant state of business in Yulmore. Good. Okay, the Butresses. Where are the Butresses? Okay, that's all the way down. All the way down. Probably an Ethernet that I could use, but after 2 months, I don't really remember. Looking for Master Chai, are you? Is something amiss? When last I saw him, he seemed ready to collapse from exhaustion. I insisted he rest and catch his breath, and we talked for a while about his concerns over the city's defenses, amongst other things. He made more than a few valid points. Many of our men are still recovering after your confrontation with Lord Vothry, and finding General Ranjit in a heap in the middle of the plaza shook us all to the core. The man commanded no small amount of loyalty, and some of our longest-serving soldiers seemed lost without him. Indeed, a number of them left. Not that we blame you, of course. Without you and yours, we would still be blind to the error of our ways. Anyway, funding permitting, I proposed replenishing our ranks with volunteers from the derelicts in Gate Town. We have a duty to protect not only Yulmore, you see, but the surrounding regions of Kaluja as well. And I, for one, would welcome any man or woman willing to take up arms for that cause. Indeed, I told him as much, and he seemed relieved to hear it. It was on that note that we parted ways. He headed outside, as I recall. Okay. Yeah, Yulmore's not doing too hot. Okay, okay. Right. Can switch back. Yeah, this is my adventuring wear when we're just running around, doing diplomacy and things like that. I recall a man fitting that description. Asked to speak with the poor buggers lately come from right. Said he wanted to know the state of things down in the derelicts. You can be sure we gave him an earful. Lack of food, medicine, clothing, there was plenty to tell. We hunt high and low for whatever we can scavenge, and it's barely enough to fill our bellies. But folk here don't just want to survive, they want to thrive. When he heard that, he started mumbling to himself. Something about finding us work, I think. Fair play to him, though. Not content with having his ear chewed about the derelicts, he asked about the other settlements and all. After that, I can't really say. Looked like he was headed for Gate Town when last I saw him. Okay. Ah, there you are. How did you fare? Have you learned anything which might offer a clue as to Master Chai's whereabouts? I guess. Interesting. He apparently paid a visit to the Queen Bee as well. They discussed the possibility of granting admission to customers from outside Yulmore, an idea to which the proprietor was surprisingly receptive. Sounds like he's got big plans for the place. Yulmore, I mean, not the bee. Perhaps, but the question remains, where did he go after leaving the city? All we know for certain is that Master Chai has shown great concern not only for Yulmore, but its surrounding settlements. It seems logical, then, that having consulted those within the city walls, he would wish to do the same to those without. Mangg, if you would go and make inquiries and write, I shall do likewise in Stilltide. Gate Town I leave to you, Kaishir. Fair enough. Where shall we meet when we've finished? Well, Top Rung would seem to me to be his next most likely destination. Let us reconvene there. With any luck, one of us will have stumbled upon him by then, but if not, we will be well situated to continue our search. Teleporting. That is what we do. Yep, there he is. No, the name doesn't ring any bells, but there was a rather dapper-looking Mistel gentleman not here not long ago. He wanted to talk about relations between Wright and Yulmore, or rather, the lack of them. We lost a great many people to their promises of meal and the chance of a lavish life among the free. And Vothri thought to take even more from us, conscripting the few able-bodied men we had left to guard his paradise. I needn't tell you what happened when the Sin Eaters came. Such things are hard to forgive. But Vothri's gone now, and we're curious to see what will become of Yulmore in his absence. That's what I told your friend. Chai News, was it? And I'm sure the others said the same. Not what he wanted to hear, I suppose, because he left soon after, and that was that. Okay. Fly, Chocobo, fly! Thank goodness we have flight. I'm sure I've said that many times. So, he paid a visit to both Wright and Gate Town as well, did he? I see. Kaishir and I gleaned much the same. He seems determined to salvage what goodwill might yet remain among the settlements of Kalusia, the only likely place he has left to go being Amity. Come, if we are quick, we may yet catch up with him. I mean, why wouldn't he just tell his wife this? It seems really dickish. But turtle go spin. Look at that turtle spin. Sort of nauseating just to look at. I can't imagine riding that turtle. There he is. The man himself. Mangg, Alphino, Kaishir, what are you doing here? We might ask you the same, Master Chai. We've been looking all over for you. Looking for me? Whatever for? Lady Chai has been nigh inconsolable in your absence. She claims you disappeared without so much as a word and bade us return you to her side. What in blazes are you talking about? I left a letter for her in our chambers. Though I suppose she could have overlooked it. Maybe she ate it. And when she gets an idea in her head, I can only apologize. No harm done, Master Chai. But since we are here, might I ask what compelled you to come all this way? We were told you had been elected mayor, and from what we have gathered from the nearby villages, you have been inquiring about the people's grievances. Is it safe to assume you mean to take office? Now, let's not jump to conclusions. I did seek to learn about the problems faced by the people of Kalusia, that much is true, but I am by no means sure I am the man to solve them. Tackling our many challenges will require resources. Until I have secured them, it would not be right to assume the role of mayor. I see, and you believe said resources can be found here? Indeed, the people's grievances are many, but in the course of my inquiries, I have already met with several individuals willing to lend their aid in addressing them. However, there remains one individual crucial to my plans, a man whose counsel might yet make a mayor of me. With respect, such forethought is, in itself, proof of your suitability. The city needs you, Master Chai, and I am certain this man of whom you speak, whoever he may be, will reach the same conclusion. For what little it is worth, we will vouch for you should he require convincing. We believe in you, Master Chai. Yeah! I don't know what to say. You don't need to say anything. You've got your actions to speak for you. For as long as I can remember, all I ever wanted was to make it into Yulmore. That dream's gone now. Burst like a bubble. Or a boil, more like. I would have made a Goodfellas reference there, but I thought of it just a second too late. Anyway, outside of repaying Master Alphino, I haven't had a clue what to do with myself. Spent most days in a daze. But you've been running up and down, trying to find a way to fix this mess for everyone. And I reckon you can do it. You got this lot up Mount Gold, didn't you? How hard could mayoring be? You're gonna steer Yulmore to a better future, I know it. And I want to help. Properly help. Do something that makes a difference. I don't know what it is yet, but I'll work it out on the way. If you let me come with you, that is. You give me entirely too much credit, the lot of you. But I can't deny it gives me heart. Come then, let us press on together. Thank you, Master Chai. But we mustn't get ahead of ourselves. Yulmore needs more than a man with good intentions, which is why I am here, to find one with the experience needed to see the city thrive. Who is this man exactly, and are you certain he's here in Amity? Brendan is his name, and yes, he is, or was. I had scarcely begun to explain myself when he decided his time was better spent elsewhere. He served as chief advisor to Vothri's father when he was in office. If Ranjit was the mayor's right hand, one might say Rendon was the left, and between them they kept Yulmore on the road to prosperity. The city needs more than a mere man of business, which is why I must find him. But even if you do, what makes you think he will listen? Before giving chase, might it not be wise to speak with those who know him here in Amity? They may be able to shed some light on his reason for rejecting your overtures out of hand. Yes, I suppose that makes sense. Perhaps we should start with Tristol, then. As I recall, you made rather a favorable impression on him. I'm certain he would be willing to talk to us. Greetings, friend, and to you too, Master Chai. I presume you're here to ask after Rendon. Couldn't help overhearing your earlier exchange. Yes, well, with Vothri gone, Yulmore wants for a leader. Should no one rise to the challenge, the city could very well collapse. I came here seeking Rendon's counsel in the hope that we could build a better Yulmore together, and that is still my wish. But given how abominably you were mistreated there, I will quite understand if you choose not to help. Worry not, Master Chai. I bear no grudge against you or the people of Yulmore, and I would not see you suffer for Vothri's villainy. As you no doubt gathered from your meeting earlier, Brendan can be rather uncompromising. He has his principles, you see, and little patience for anyone he deems less committed to their own. Your desire to right the wrongs of your past, of Yulmore's past, is quite admirable, but I fear the guilt you bear on the city's behalf works against you. I can see it in your eyes, in the way you carry yourself. It goes without saying he sees it as well. You must let those feelings go, Master Chai. Be more assertive, commit to this course, and prove to him Yulmore has the resolve to change. The resolve to change. I believe he was heading towards Pit 8 when he left. If you plan to go and speak with him, I suggest you be firm and clear in your intentions. Very well. To Pit 8 we shall go, and I will not take no for an answer. Nay, not even a maybe. It's just so wild, jumping from the newest WoW expansion to this, where, you know, like, every quest is just killing a bunch of things. It's just funny just how little combat we do.
Well, well, it's you again. Well, I see you've invited your friends. Need them to fight your battles for you, do you?
No, I didn't invite them, as it happens, though they are indeed my friends. Well, not only mine, but every true Yulmoran's. They are the ones who awakened us to the truth, to Lord Vothri's villainy, the famous warriors of darkness.
Are they now?
Yes, they are. It would be no exaggeration to call them our saviors. We owe much and more to their kindness, but we cannot depend on that kindness forever. To do so would be a little different from entrusting our affairs to Lord Vothri. Nay, we must learn to stand on our own 2 feet. And I would have them present to witness my attempt.
Hear, hear, Master Chai.
Your sentiments are admirable, yet admirable sentiments do not a nation make. In my capacity as advisor, I once strove to build a better Yulmore. Gave honest counsel to my superiors, drafted laws for the benefit of one and all. But in time, my values fell out of favor. There was no need for them in this paradise Vothri was creating, and so I left my homeland behind. But you, Chai News, you were content to wallow in indolence under Vothri's auspices. And so I cannot help but ask myself what manner of nation you intend to build.
I can offer no simple answer to that question. But this much I will say. It is my hope that Yulmore can become a nation which her citizens might freely choose to build together. A great many people, myself included, flocked to Yulmore seeking sanctuary. The alternative being to live in fear and die in pain. Seemed an easy choice. And sanctuary we found. As much food and drink as we could ever want. Secured at the cost of the surrounding villages. Little wonder the people gathered at our doorstep, begging to work among the bonded. The free were blind to it all, of course. content to, as you say, wallow in indolence, in ignorance. Were I mayor, I would first take stock of the city's resources and see that they were assigned equitably. Our days of reckless consumption are behind us. The distinction between free and bonded died with Vorthri. The needs of rich and poor alike must be considered if our nation is to survive. To which end I would take steps to secure channels for supplies, rekindle relations with nearby settlements, who re-establish industry, reach out to neighboring nations, and the list goes on and on. But I am no ruler, nor even a politician. I am an entrepreneur. My expertise lie in planning and profit. I haven't the knowledge or experience to run a nation. Please, Rendon, will you not help me? Together, we could solve the city's problems. Build a Yulmore for the people.
A Yulmore for the people. I rather like the sound of that. But before I offer you my counsel, I would be certain of your ability to perform the duties of office.
You would?
You ask me to help you solve Yulmore's problems, but first I would see you solve one on your own. Accomplish that, and you will prove both to me and the people that you are a man worth following.
Wow, that was a lot of talking, that's for sure. Right then. Is there a particular issue you would have me resolve? You seem to have conducted an assessment of the problems Yulmore now faces. I assume you will agree, therefore, that the matter of dwindling food stores is the most pressing. Yes. Meal being neither a desirable nor a less sustainable option, I assume alternative foodstuffs are now required to fill the void. And a man who hungers does not like to contribute much to society, save violence, perhaps. So tell me, how do you propose to solve this problem? Give me a satisfactory answer, and I will consider offering you my counsel. A combination of measures would seem to be in order. One to address the immediate issue of supply, and another that of production. Go on. For the present, Yulmore's coffers can be used to purchase food from our neighbors. This would afford us time to address the underlying problem that affects us all, the long-standing neglect of agriculture. The villages that once served as sources of trade for foodstuffs must be repopulated, their means of production restored. This assumes, of course, that we can rekindle relations with our neighbors, guarantee security and stability in the region, and, most importantly, find people willing to leave the city and take up the rebuilding effort. My, think of all that by yourself, did you? Well, yes. It began as a rather abstract plan I drafted some time ago, after speaking with the peoples of Yulmore and the nearby settlements. You've impressed me, Chai News. I have. Well, that is a relief. Oh, you haven't secured my support just yet. Only my attention. Grand plans will not be enough to persuade the masses. If you would ask them to rebuild, you must provide them the means to do so. A fair point, Rendon, and one to which I have given much thought. I propose the use of Talos to aid in the establishment and maintenance of these settlements. Their employment should drastically improve efficiency and ultimately increase production. Talos? But Daedalus Stoneworks closed their doors years ago. Without a ready supply of the necessary equipment, the people would starve before your plans could be put into effect. Well, as the heir to Daedalus Stoneworks, it just so happens that Talos are my field of expertise. And with a little help, I'm quite certain we can acquire what we need in no time at all. Alright. Exquisite beef stew. I mean, that's going to be hard to beat. I fucking love beef stew. Pixie berry cheesecake. Alright, well, that's pretty good too. Kukuru rusk. Slightly bitter notes in the kukuru butter used to make this crisp bread give its distinctive mellow sweetness. Or lemon curd sacher-tort. Rich cake of indulgent chocolate accented with the perfect amount of tart lemon curd. Yeah, it's between the beef stew and the cheesecake. What would I rather eat right now in this moment? Yeah, the cheesecake. All right. You know what would be really interesting? And I say this, you know, as the person that would actually make it, not like watch. Is like basically like exploring Final Fantasy XIV. Like a 30 or 40 part series summarizing the entire plot of Final Fantasy XIV. Like, you know, cutting out all the fat, dissecting like what is important to the plot overall without losing too much of like the little moments and the, you know, the character development and things like that, but cutting out all of like my reading and stuff like that. Like no dialogue that I would have to read would be present. It would all be summarized, but then including sometimes like the voiced cutscenes to give it a little bit more of a cinematic feel to it. And just have like a lengthy summary that would still, it wouldn't be enough. I mean, it wouldn't be the same as playing through it yourself, but it would be far better than just watching like a 30-minute summary of the entire Realm Reborn or something like that, which is fine. But, you know, I'm just saying like something in between playing through the whole thing and just watching a 30-minute summary. Something right in the middle of just like a quality, lengthy summary. I think that would be interesting to do. The only thing is, like, that's a lot of fucking work, and I'd have to basically play through the whole thing again. Like, you know, analyzing it, taking notes, basically writing as I go, and, you know, recording the whole thing again. You know, I'd say I could start it as a pet project, but it's a big pet project, so I don't know. I don't think it would be like, I don't think there would be no interest in something like that. I'm sure plenty of people would be very interested in watching that. Compared to something like this, where I'm just playing through the entire thing and it's 150 fucking parts. I think there would be interest in it, but it's, you know, it's a lot of work. Finding good help. Brendan is quite right. Building Talos from scratch would require time we simply do not have, which is why I propose to make use of the long-abandoned Talos which wander the wilds of Kalusia. They will need to be deactivated, of course, and if memory serves, the tools required to do so should still be a top rung. Come with me. Because it wouldn't be like a gameplay summary, really. You know, like when you do a dungeon, I would summarize like why you're doing the dungeon and what happens at the end of the dungeon, you know, who you fight maybe at the end of the dungeon, and that would be that. You know, where, you know, an actual dungeon run would take like 30 minutes or 40 minutes. you could summarize in 2 minutes. And, you know, so that sort of stuff can cut down on a lot of the time it takes to actually play through the entire story from start to finish. Aha! The old memory hasn't let me down. This chest contains canisters filled with a dashingly potent insulating powder capable of halting the flow of ether in a Talos. We need only get within throwing distance of one and let fly, thus disabling them without damaging them. Ingenious. An old trick of the trade, nothing more. Once disabled, it should be a simple enough matter to get them to march to Yulmore. More extensive repairs can wait. Ordinarily, this is where I would ask you to run along and do the deed, but as I have said before, it's high time we learn to stand on our own 2 feet. Thankfully, throwing canisters is something even I should be able to manage. Come off it, Master Chai. Even if the Talos ain't a threat, there's 101 other things out there waiting to make a meal of you. That's as may be, Kaishir, but Rendon tasked me with solving this problem, and I will not sit idly by while others risk everything to see my harebrained schemes realized. Not this time. Which isn't to say the mere thought of it doesn't fill me with dread. Truth be told, I can't feel my legs. But if I'm to prove I'm a man worth following, I must lead by example. Well said, Master Chai. Here, here. Yes, well, it should go without saying that I have no intention of dying for this. I've always preferred living to see the fruits of my labors. And to make sure I do, I will require your help. It is as Kai Shir says, these lands are dangerous if one is not careful. I would ask you to use my spyglass to look out for any beasts that could get in the way of my work. I will also need you to alert me when it is safe to subdue the Talos. Understood? Good. Then let's be off to the quick way, through the north gate, and see if we can't find a suitable vantage point for you. In the rain, baby. Here's really what should happen. Here's really what should happen. Square Enix should just fucking hire me to make, you know, a lengthy series of summary videos. That's what should happen. I mean, come on. And it's funny that I'm getting to the point where it's like, that's not the most insane thing I've ever said. Because when I, you know, back in the day, I said all sorts of, you know, they should hire me to make Mangg's movies instead of, you know, the people they actually get to make, you know, things like that. But, you know, it's not impossible that Square Enix would come to me to have me make videos for them. It's unlikely, but anyways. Okay. Alright, so we're just waiting for him to turn. No? Oh, okay. I didn't know I was supposed to... I did it? I did it! Let's move on to another Talos, shall we? Ooh, now we got some tricky things here. Okay, that's good. That's good. Alright, but wait a minute. Wait a minute. Alright, we're still good. Go. I do believe I'm getting the hang of this. You may leave the next one to me, Mangg. Ha! That should do it. Now we have all we need to proceed. I can scarcely believe it. It was a reckless, foolish plan, but somehow it worked. I did it. Master Chai, I believe I owe you an apology. Your plan to replenish Yulmore's food stores showed forethought and sound judgment. What's more, it is plain your time at Daedalus Stoneworks has equipped you to lead, as evidenced by the extraordinary company you keep. You, sir, are more than qualified to be the next mayor of Yulmore. I thank you for your vote of confidence, but the fact remains I am wholly ignorant of the world of politics, which is why I would ask you to join me and grant Yulmore the benefit of your counsel. I would be honored. When the people behold these Talos, I have no doubt they will lend you their support. It would seem Yulmore's leadership is at last in capable hands. Would you not agree? We should probably be getting back soon, Master Chai, after you've tinkered with the Talos and all that. Lady Chai's worried sick.
Right. Right then. Form a line and make for Yulmore.
What's that noise? Wicked White! Runaway Talos! Call the guard!
Nothing says leadership like a show of force, am I right?
Stay back! All of you!
Is that... Darling, you're back.
But of course I'm back. You didn't see.
Dearest, I can't.
Oh, the backbreaker. Oh my god.
Oh! Oh dear.
What? Is he using like a Phoenix Down or something?
Oh, thank you.
God damn.
I'm sorry, my darling. It's just the sight of you filled me with such joy, I couldn't help myself.
Oh, no, it's all right, dear. I should have just come out and said what it was I was intending, instead of entrusting the task to a hastily scribbled letter.
Does that mean you'll do it?
Well, I'm here, aren't I? I mean, not that my absence signified any unwillingness, you understand? Oh, no, naught could be further from the truth. I only left to enlist the aid of the former mayor's senior advisor. And now that I have it, I believe I am ready to take office.
Oh, how wonderful!
My god.
Dearest, please.
Jesus. He's like a fucking rag doll. That's a bear hug. That was quite a reception. Our Master Chai will struggle to forget. One Master Chai will struggle to forget. More seriously, the arrival of the Talos has seized the public's attention. Once word has spread around Yulmore, it will be that much simpler to gather one and all so that Master Chai can make his inaugural address. Alrighty. Yeah, so we got just a couple quests left in patch 5.1. And I would do them now, but it's kind of late. So, well, you know, there's no rush. There's no rush. It's all good. So we'll leave it off here. I do like the idea of doing a lengthy summary, though. I mean, it seems kind of fun. The idea of playing through it all again is not incredibly scintillating, but, you know, it is a task overall that I kind of like, obviously. I like summarizing things. That is not something I probably said as a child, but you never know what you grow up to do. Anyways, my name is Mangg. Game watching has been Final Fantasy XIV. See you fine folks in the next part.